Transaction Authentication System, or simply TAS, is a patented solution from Bremarsk that will eliminate fraud and also reduce costs incurred by financial institutions like banks, credit unions, and wallet providers. Reducing costs due to fraud? Heard this before? This is widespread. Fraudulent transactional cost to the financial industry is approximately $80 billion on an annual basis. U.S. credit card and debit card issuers are losing an average of $2.4 billion annually. Are you or your organization affected by fraudulent transactions? Zero liability guarantee? Think again. Customers love paying by cards. Inserting it, then swipe, wave, and now by waving their phones. They love flexibility. They also love zero liability guarantee in case of fraud. This guarantee is now an industry standard. Zero liability guarantee ensures customers have no liability in fraudulent transactions. But for financial institutions to provide this guarantee, costs are huge. Fraud monitoring systems, fraud alerts based on geeky artificial intelligence, insurance, premiums, call centers, investigations. All add to costs for financial institutions to just provide the zero liability guarantee. Our Transaction Authentication System, also known as TAS, eliminates fraud and reduces costs, and most times eliminating the cost incurred by financial institutions. If it's looking like we're promising you the moon, we're not. Let's get to the facts. What is fraud? A transaction that takes place without a customer's knowledge or approval is a fraudulent transaction. TAS ensures all transactions take place with a customer's knowledge and approval. Our method to prevent fraud is simple and straightforward. No need to go after the fraudulent transaction to reverse it after it succeeds. We just prevent the fraudulent transactions. Let's show you with a process. Normal process. Here is Tom. He's in a shopping mall where he picked up items for Christmas and rushes to the checkout counter to pay. His items are scanned at the counter, and then it's his turn to pay. He swipes his card. Oh no, he inserts his chipped credit card. Then his smartphone wakes up and he's identified using biometrics, using his face or fingerprint, or his eyes, and then he approves the transaction. Upon Tom's approval, the bill is printed. No new cards, no new terminals, no tokens, just showing his face in the phone. How's that for simple? TAS also has Tom covered in his not-so-happy times. Loses his wallet. When Tom loses his wallet to a lucky Mr. Robber, and when Mr. Robber uses Tom's credit card to pay for his items, Tom's smartphone will wake up and wait for Tom's authorization. Tom simply rejects the transaction, and Mr. Robber will realize his misfortune. He can't use Tom's card without his approval. TAS saves Tom time and frustration in calling his bank to reverse the fraudulent transaction. TAS simply prevented that transaction from taking place. Compare this with the present situation. Tom will get a notification only after Mr. Robber has successfully used Tom's card without his permission. Tom will need to call his card issuer to report this fraudulent transaction and to reverse the transaction. Then, the card issuer needs to investigate and refund the transaction at the card issuer's cost, while Mr. Robber enjoys the items he purchased with Tom's card. TAS also has Tom covered when he loses his wallet and phone to Mr. Robber. Let's say that Mr. Robber is lucky enough to get Tom's wallet and his smartphone. Mr. Robber cannot identify himself as Tom to TAS when he uses Tom's photo ID or Tom's video from his smartphone. Bremarsk's TAS can differentiate a real face from a photo or a video. In the end, Mr. Robber cannot pay for the goods using Tom's card. Did we forget all smartphones now have a new fingerprint unlock? Oh, PIN is the most trusted by the phone, and my phone can be unlocked with a PIN even when locked with fingerprint security. Online purchase. The TAS process remains the same. When Tom attempts to purchase any item online using his card, his smartphone will wake up for authorization, requiring his identification and approval. Protection to his bank account. TAS also protects Tom's bank account from anyone who attempts to take money from his checking or savings account without his authorization. Two-factor. TAS also provides a two-factor-like solution by eliminating the need to enter a PIN or one-time codes sent to his phone, and instead, he just needs to show his face in his phone. Flexibility. TAS protects Tom when he travels overseas, switches to a different phone, data connection is off. How to get TAS implemented. TAS just needs to be plugged into the current IT infrastructure of the issuer. No further changes are necessary. TAS is built with open architecture, and TAS is made with ISO quality and security standards, and is also compliant to FBI, NIST, and IEEE standards. TAS runs within your IT infrastructure, and your data stays with you and remains yours. Customer data remains with them as their property. With TAS, there will be no disruption to existing processes. Customers will have the flexibility to opt into the TAS fraud eliminating solution, or, if they prefer, they could stick with the current fraud reversal process and keep sweating. Please contact us for a live demonstration.